Black Sprinter, windows on max tenor, mad sinner, sweating like it's past winter. No witness, offshore tax printer. Try following the money, but the bag quicker. If he a rat killer, bodies in vast rivers. The strap widow up for blood more than Dracula. Counter wind ass spinners, pack flipper. That's the block jack ripper, body bag zipper. Trash bucket, body part stuffed in it. Caught him lacking at the church, some were just christened. See the right, let him live. If he just listen. Trust giving, break it, goons rushing in. False ceiling, push it over duffel linens. And put the drill to your grill like a fucking dentist. No capping, toe tagging so savage. She never post a picture doggy, so there's no catching.
Cocaína está todas en mis manos. I want the power, want the quota, dime cuándo. She really taught me everything I know. Yeah, my girl a boss, that's Griselda Blanco.
Any, mini, money, mo, bigger hustle, she gon' blow. She gon' run it on her own. She got duffels full of dough, full of dough. Full of dough, she got duffels full of dough. She gon' run it, now you know. She gon' set up Blanco, Blanco.
Block number, no me diga, no statements, no waiting. Drop the pin in location, I'm reloaded. Bullet rotation, head of deck, so he got his check posted. The low made it, unloaded off the boat way. Coke slanging, if it's short though, they won't make it. Hoes waiting for you, that's a bold statement. Fuck up once they tip you off or get your home rated. She ain't got no time to waste, sometimes she on the grind. She don't drop no dime, she walk the line and do the time.
When she walk outside, she always strapped up with the 9. Catch a couple bodies, this a double homicide.
Bulletproof out of Land Cruiser, yeah, she the living proof. Any juice that a woman want, yeah, she gon' pick the fruit.
She gon' sip on the wine when she got killers on the loose. People reach for the rhyme, but she ain't in it for a truth.
La madrina, la 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 madrina.
She ain't in it for a truth.
Cocaína está todas en mis manos. I want the power, want the quota, dime cuándo. She really taught me everything I know. Yeah, my girl a boss, that's Griselda Blanco.
Any, mini, money, mo, bigger hustle, she gon' blow. She gon' run it on her own. She got duffels full of dough, full of dough, full of dough. She got duffels full of dough. She gon' run it, now you know. She was set up Blanco, Blanco. She was set up Blanco, Blanco.
Hola Griselda, yo soy una amiga de tu hijo. Él me mandó porque él no puede venir en persona, pero él quería que yo te trajera unas cositas.
Unas cositas.
Wow.
Let's go.
Unbelievable, man. That was fire. That was fire.
Thank you, bro.
Are we rolling here? Dope. Icon Hip Hop Podcast. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Soul, and right now I'm sitting down with the legend himself, Junk, and we got Masiah over to the very far right. You guys have been in the scene for quite some time. We're obviously here to discuss the Gallery of Saints project dropping September 26th, correct?
September 24th.
September 24th.
Like Kobe.
Sorry, my
24
bad.
karat gold.
Mamba
Yes, sir.
forever, Mamba forever.
24.
That's right.
So before we get into the depths of this album, I just kind of wanted to touch on a little bit of backstory. Like I said, you guys have been in the scene for quite some time. Can you explain kind of what that was like coming into Vancouver scene, your first introduction to that, and what the scene was like back then in those days?
Yeah,
I'm older, so but I mean,
we're talking about probably the same era though. Like
sure.
We're talking about what, like 2005 to 2010.
I was thinking
kind of the come
I was
up.
thinking when I met you,
Yes.
it was in some house in Prince Edward and 16th, just off Main Street, I think, for the first time.
Yeah.
I was dating some girl. You came there. I was already making music. That would have been 2007.
2007.
Yeah, because I made that album in 2007.
I was 18. I was 18. You would have been 20.
Yeah, I would have been 20. I would have been 20.
7.
There you go. Yeah.
You were 7, so we've been at it. But
Yeah, we've been
at it before that. But that was the first time we met. And it was kind of like a friction moment, I think, but not too crazy. But I was like, I don't know how I feel about this gentleman.
Young, a lot of ego.
Yeah.
And we were both like really like when you're in that age, you have to think that you're the one, right? And you're not gonna really like think about anybody, especially in a city like Vancouver at that time. There was really no scene. There was like the Rascals and Swollen Members,
Facts.
but there was no scene. It was being formulated
Very
literally
clicky.
under our
Pockets
feet.
everywhere.
It was being formulated. People like Emotions, people like Flip Out and J Swing. A lot of guys were like literally laying the groundwork while
100%.
we were walking on the street. So we really came up in the come up of the city, and now we have like a thriving scene. There's lots of artists popping internationally, like on high levels in every form of the genre of hip hop. So it's crazy to see it from our angle and to still be here making art and doing what we do, man. And we aren't doing it for the fame, and we love any notoriety we receive, but it's a beautiful thing to watch the city like change over time, you know?
Yeah, man. And keeping the my whole essence is just lyrics, you know what I mean? That's the thing that gravitates me to this music that we make, you know, that I've been making, that he's been making. It's the lyrics. It was always, what are these people saying? What and how much can you say and how much can you get off your chest? And I came into that as a young 15, 14-year-old kid writing raps, listening, you know, to Nas and Jay and you know, and then going into the battle rap circuit. And like you said, emotions too, you're right, going into the Rent Money battles when I first came to Vancouver and just
Monday Night Lives,
MNL at, what was it called? Modern, man.
Yeah,
so,
honing your skills in front of the people.
MCing,
Battling
doing
for money,
whatever. You know, you
or
guys
just
know about
performing.
that. And that's why I like this platform, because you guys are about that. You're still pushing that essence of MCing and lyricism, whether it's in a cypher or battling or just backpack shit. That's what I came up on, and I love that. And this album really represents 20 years of that into one project together now as a collective. So yeah, man. It's been a journey, but we're still here. The journey's still long, you know?
So you mentioned that you met at a house party. Were you freestyling at that house party?
I don't remember.
I don't even think we was rapping. We both became aware that we were both rappers, and it was kind of like you know, like back to the wall type moment. Like okay, like
Who the fuck?
yeah, it's like a respect, but it's like a, you know, you're young and like it was an interesting moment. But no, there was no music involved. It was a social situation.
Yeah, I don't think there was any music involved.
But then, like, from that moment, we had heard each other's names so many times and never really crossed paths for probably about 12 years after that moment. Like, we went a dozen years until we actually crossed paths.
2019, we started kicking it.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is
so
crazy.
from 2007 to 2019, we didn't really have many run-ins other than, like, just being aware of each other from afar.
Name me
Like, that guy's doing that or he's doing this. Like, but
on a certain few bills together,
Yeah.
maybe together, shit
Yeah.
like that. But it wasn't like...
Yeah, man, and that kind of shows you the tininess, but also the vastness of every small ecosystem. You feel me?
But shows you also how Vancouver is as a microcosm on a larger scale. It's just because you're doing something over here, it's such a small city that, like, whatever you have, you covet that. You hold on to that for dear life. I can't share, you know, and that mentality is wrong. And I've been guilty of it too. But as soon as you get older and you become wiser, you start expanding that out and seeing, oh wow, there's pockets of people over here that can do things that I can't do, and they're so great at them, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And when you meld those together with other groups from other areas in the city and just other artists that do different types of music, it just becomes culture. Then you're intertwining everything beautifully. You know what I mean? And that's really.
Yeah,
We had to get out of our own way, I think, to get together in 2019 and make this project.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think it's easy to get caught up in the idea that, like, as he said, like, you covet your small little bit of notoriety or the fan base you carved out or the niche you carved out, not really realizing that there's billions of people on the planet.
Exactly,
and there's
man. Yeah.
What are you
hundreds,
doing,
maybe
you know?
thousands of ecosystems like yours that are probably bigger and more established than yours, and you're just like a small fish in a small pond, or maybe you're a big fish in an ocean. But
For real.
like, don't get caught up in that. The more you let other people be great, the more you're gonna be great. You feel me?
And
It's
the
like,
more you try to control, the more you lose control.
because
right?
there's room for everyone.
Yeah.
He's an amazing rapper. I'm an amazing rapper. It's not only can we exist in the same city, we can exist on songs together
on a project.
within every creative fiber of it. As like a
Steel sharpens.
50-50.
I'm on that vibe. As soon as I learned to branch out and just let my ego go, it's like, yo, find the best people, and instead of being threatened by them, make music with them, link with them, and create greatness. And that's But I had to learn that. But I think the city now is really, like, I see, younger people just doing that right off rip, which hopefully I feel like, not individually, but I think maybe my trajectory maybe helped.
Yeah,
And not just
course.
mine. Everybody's just, they're all these people working together. They're a bit older. We're young. We can do that too. So it's like I see younger people working with different crews all the time now, as opposed to just holding it together, which is a beautiful thing to see, because that just means they're going to flourish to greatness a lot quicker than I have and he has.
And you see the product of it. Like, you don't have BB No Money and Mercules and all these people if people don't decide, oh, I'm not the rapper. I'm the manager.
No, facts.
I'm the producer.
100.
I'm the agent.
100.
I can make content. I can interview people. That's an actual city that's thriving. It's
beautiful.
You see what I'm saying? Like in Vancouver before, everyone wanted to be the front man. Not everyone can be the front man. You feel me? An ecosystem is not going to thrive if everyone's trying to be Michael Jordan. Like you need Scottie Pippen, you need Ron Harper, you need the Steve Kerr, you need someone to be Phil Jackson,
Malone.
right?
Fuck Karl Malone.
But you feel me? It's
you
like
need soldiers, man.
Everyone can thrive in an ecosystem
100%.
where there's more positions for everybody.
It's a soccer team.
Exactly.
Everyone is an important role, And it's funny. One more just thing on this is. Because I started learning that when I started doing the Strictly Cypher.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a bit about that.
I'm sure you would have, but I really learned, because there were so many. We had them at a donut shop.
Yeah.
Car Tim's Donuts. Shout out to Rags. He was just a super fan of hip hop and used to see me, just perform at Calabash. Shout out to Calabash. Shout out to Roger. But yeah, he was cool enough to I had this idea to just do ciphers, basically. I wanted to just rap. I just wanted that essence wanted to see where the MCs were at from all different, levels, cultures, whatever it was. And it started there for me really branching out and being okay and just meeting different people at different times of their life, whether they were more skilled or just starting. It was a beautiful melting pot. 20 people, 15 people, 30 people, sometimes 50. And I really started branching out and just connecting with different pockets of people that each shared the same interest of just spitting raps and just having a good time, kicking some frees, being in a cypher, spitting verses or doing poems, whatever. And it was hard to meet those people in other venues because there isn't that many establishments where you can just go and see this type of shit. A couple open mics. But other than that, I was like, man, the city's missing this. So I felt like doing that. And then I felt like my ego started to, we all have egos, but it started to just corrode away a bit and just being accepting to everyone that came into the cypher, man. So I commend what you guys are doing. You guys took it to a next level, and I thought that was a great segue. Anyways, just branching the
and it literally is segue. It's like the growth of the city. In order for Vancouver to be great, you need the icon hip hop.
No, for real.
You need the kids takeovers.
100%.
Without this, you know what I'm saying? Like kids takeover is now like a legit media center for hip hop. It's a Vancouver kid who created or a Surrey kid, and that is the signs of a thriving community. You feel me? It's not just the BB No Money or the
100%.
Mercules
All of it.
or the Sunreal or whoever it is being like, oh, like an artist made it from there. That's what we used to think. Oh, once one of us pops like Drake, then you made it. It's like, no, you make it when you have label offices and you know what I mean, podcast
which we still
centers.
don't. But
that's
the infrastructure is low, but it's
that's
coming.
That's the glow up, right? That's the goal is to get to a point where we're demanding the same attention and the same eyeballs as every other major city, right? Because if you've been to Vancouver, then everyone can tell. If you ask any celebrity, they're like, "Oh yeah, the seafood and the weed and they know it has an identity." But for some reason, as artists, we just never have cracked that cultural ceiling.
Well, I think me and Ghetto talk about it quite a bit. California, you've got your Kendrick. Down south, you've got your Outkast, and there's all these different places that have these massive staple artists that have made it. Mm-hmm. So there's somewhat of a sound or a standard. Yeah. But in Vancouver, it feels like there hasn't really been that major level artist to for people to kind of get behind.
That's signature.
Yeah, right.
That's signature. It's like you said, Kendrick, and Kendrick comes from a line of Tupac, Snoop, Dre.
Exactly.
He comes down a line. He isn't just created. I would say Kanye maybe for Chicago is more of started a sound. Sort of even though Chicago and Do or Die were before that, but Common and some other artists were soulful first, but it's Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa kind of put Pittsburgh on the map. But after that, there was nothing after that because there's no infrastructure in Pittsburgh, right? So that kind of lends to the yes and the no.
That's just
both things can be true, right? It's you need a penultimate grailed artist or album to come out to make a city sound, but you also need the infrastructure around it to have a culture. Because you know what I mean, you need the venues, you need you need G-Man and Risk, and you need Fortune Sound Club. Without 100%. That, I don't think that I would exist the way I do without Fortune Sound Club. You know what I mean? Without these places, I wouldn't exist, right? So,
but on the contrary, you do need the infrastructure, which Vancouver still, we have some, but it's just minimal compared to a place like T-Dot. But on the flip side, I always found people from the West Coast, people from the East Coast are always like, how you touring so much? How you doing all this? Indie, blah, blah, blah. How you doing all this shit? And it's because as West Coast artists, you notice a little Snack, Sunreal, Merc, it's because you have to do everything yourself. Yeah. it's a do-it-yourself environment out here. I don't have a man. There's no
Yeah,
managers
no one's
out
trying to
here.
get signed.
You know, what
every
I mean?
kid in Toronto's
Where
trying
you
to get
going?
signed. They're
Here
trying
it's
to,
like
you
fuck
know?
that. I'll put on my own tour. I'll be my own manager, agent, promoter. I'll print my own posters, tickets. I'll hustle. Of course, there's managers and agents out here. You know what I mean? But when you start off, there is no other options. Either you do it all yourself, or you're just waiting to get on, and that wait might be a decade.
Yeah.
So you're like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna do it myself, and then you learn all these different things that you need to do. Wear all these different hats, being a promoter, an agent, a poster boy, whatever, a showrunner, production, how to run all these things. So that's why I find a lot of West Coast artists, have careers, tour careers and whatnot, because they were just forced into that situation. So on the flip side, that's been beneficial to artists like me, especially, but also other artists. But yeah, I think we're coming together soon. Vancouver is, like I said, it's everything, like he said too, everything is coming. We have a little bit of infrastructure, but it's coming together. The cohesion is tighter than I've ever seen in Vancouver.
We see it.
So
We see there's a whole generation of artists, engineers,
100%.
producers coming up. There's a lot of kids who are like producing for Drake, producing for like all these major artists.
they're like 19.
They're like 19, 21-year-old kids in Vancouver that aren't even ingratiated into maybe the cultural center of Vancouver, but don't need to be.
Exactly.
Because that's the power of the internet, right? Is like if you have the talent, you can just get connected to the source at this point, right? So
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, like, doing it yourself, all the groundwork and shit like that, like, it really does, it gives you so much growth and experience and stuff, because now you have, like, the TikTok generation where, like, guys post a reel, and next thing you know, they're headlining, like, Rolling Loud or whatever, right? But they don't have that groundwork. They don't know how to perform at the small venues with the 10 people crowds and shit like that. So
they don't have people around them
to be able to do that groundwork. You learn so much shit. But I kind of want to go back to the whole cipher thing. As you know, like, we're really big on ciphers. I just wanted to ask both of you. You can answer it individually, whatever. But what is the importance of a cipher, and why is it important for people to be at ciphers?
I'll let you answer first.
I mean, this is coming from me, a guy that loves ciphering. To me, ciphering is almost the most pure microcosm of the whole industry, you know what I mean? But it's you stand in a circle, and it's really about the talent, you know what I mean? Whoever's the most talented, and I don't mean whoever's the best writer, but it's everything. It's your character, it's your enunciation, it's your pronunciation, it's what you're saying, it's lyrics, it's delivery, it's everything. Can you entertain people? Some people aren't even that good with lyrics, but they're the most
theatrical.
Wow, this guy's crazy, you know what I mean? And it's like you have to be everything. There's more than just having a sharp pen or being a technical rapper with so many syllables. Like, you got to encompass all these things and be able to shine in a cipher. And so the people that shine in ciphers are usually people that have mastered or are on their way to mastering all these elements of just being an MC. And I'm talking MC. Like, the ciphers for the MC. If you can't hang in a cipher, you can have, like you said, TikTok generation. You can have million more views than I'll ever have, probably.
You could be a great songwriter still and not be able to rock in the cipher.
But hip hop,
but we're talking about hip hop.
MCing, one of the main elements of hip hop. That's what. If you can't hang in a cipher, you know what I mean. That's where you become an MC, is in a cipher. To me, can you hang in a cipher? It's everything, and the energy is raw, and you can't replicate that in a studio. You can't replicate that. That cipher in a parking lot, bro. That cipher in a parking lot or in a park or wherever on the street. Just that energy, it just cannot be replicated.
That's
man.
what me and Ghetto have become addicted to, man. Is like, we refer to it as a drug. We're trying to chase that next high of just like, when is that next moment going to happen? Because it is all unplanned.
I think that's and that's like, for me, like, he's coming from it, like, more from like the rap part of it, and I look at it as a rapper too. But the thing I remember the most about ciphering and talking about that is just being young, right? Because most of my ciphering days was as a young person, 14, 13, 9, whatever. But going into house parties with kids I don't know in a neighborhood I'm not from, or a city I'm not from, and battling or ciphering, trying to one-up people, trying to rep myself and show my, like, talent and that I belonged or that I deserve to be listened to. And I feel like that the fear that it creates, and then the bravery that you need to, like, kind of push through, is like, it's the same as, like, okay, like, you know, you get the high recruit basketball player, but can you just go right now out to the park and like, can we play right now? Like no refs, no refs,
Great analogy.
no perfect shoes, no squeaky clean courts with the glass backboard. Like fuck it, can you hoop? Right, and that's kind of like what ciphering is. It's like if you took all the shit off, if you know we took everything off and we just said, like, what's up? Like, can you do it at that pure form? And can you do it with the pressure on?
That's what I'm saying.
Right? It's like improv acting, right? It's like it's a Saturday Night Live versus movie acting,
You
right?
don't have
movie
studio
acting,
tricks.
movie acting. You give me 100 takes, and I'm gonna execute it like so believable. But can you do it on Saturday Night Live or on the theater? Can you do it on Hamilton?
That's what's up.
In one take.
That's the cipher. That's
Right?
why you
That's the
can't,
cipher,
beat
right?
that.
It's like
That's
an
a great,
element
bro,
of life, you know?
That's a great thing. The fear.
Yes.
Because, like,
The
I'm
uncertainty.
revered as, you know, top quality.
One of the best, he's like literally one of the best freestylers in the world.
But
like,
you know
like,
how much
on
fear I
God.
had?
I
I had so much fucking fear,
But you
bro.
turned that into a superpower.
I was so scared. Like you said, I came to Vancouver house parties. All right. That's how I met my friend. Like, enemies
The only
turned to
way
friends.
you could get
It's how I met people.
Get attention.
It's like,
in a
yo,
positive
like,
way.
okay, who
I
is
can
this guy?
rap,
Who the
though.
fuck is this guy? Shy, quiet, whatever. I mean, let me rap though. Yo, you're crazy. Boom, friendship started or whatever, right? Like,
Yes.
but that bravery and that fear,
Yes.
because you got to be brave, bro, to do that. And it's rap battles too. I literally did some Eminem shit. I moved to Vancouver. There's a rent money 2 or something like that, or 3.
You had to grab your nuts.
No, but bro, I was like,
You had to go down
because
there.
I was so dope. I was living in Nelson. I would move to Nelson to Vancouver because I was like, I need more. Nelson's not. Shout out to
ain't
Nelson,
it. Yeah, shout out.
amazing
Shout out to
place,
Nelson.
but just not enough for what I was trying to pursue. So I moved to Vancouver, and my homie's like, "Yo, there's a battle." And I signed you up, straight 8 Mile shit, you know. And I hate to reference 8 Mile, but it literally was this. I'm like, no, I can't, man. I'm shook. I can't do this.
I'm new.
I'm shook. I don't know anyone. Like, you know, it gets in my head.
Yeah, people are gonna boo me. Whatever.
He took me down there. Yo, I was so pale and nervous, but I ended up winning. My
Bodied
first
it.
rap battle ever. Boom. Who is this kid? And then
Because you harnessed that fear.
I harnessed the fear. So, but it's a great way to challenge that fear and even if you fuck up the next 10 times, but maybe on the 11th cipher, something happens to you and you conquering that fear.
Because you came back. You came back, right? Articulating yourself
Huge.
is something people have a hard time doing. Like being assertive and expressing yourself. Human beings have a really hard time doing that shit. Like telling someone what you want without feeling like you're offending someone
Oh, man.
or worrying about someone's feelings
I
or
offended people
feeling
every
like
day.
you look angry or you look crazy. And if you like, depending on your background, that you might have like even more thoughts about that. But it's like rap and freestyling is like it's like taking that fear and turning it into a superpower, man.
100%.
It's actually crazy. I love that shit.
100%.
Do you remember who you battled that time?
Well, I battled Paper Chase
Okay.
in the final for the win. But this is a fucking side note. There was a dude. Somebody didn't show up. Some rapper didn't show up. So then there was another rapper who said, "That's me," and I didn't know because I didn't know any of these people. So he went up on stage. So I ended up serving him up too, right? He went under a different alias. Years later, I come to find out that was Snack, the Ripper.
Oh, no
But he's never
way.
battled. He's not a battle MC, nothing. He was just, effing was just starting to become something. They were still just
And it's
skating and
something you
tagging.
feel back in the day. It was something you felt you had to do.
Yeah.
A rite of passage. There's a
Right.
difference now.
100%.
People just think if you punch
got
in,
TikTok.
if you punch in and you punch in and you punch in, not like no disrespect to punching in,
fuck.
no, but no disrespect. There's certain
Yeah,
styles that
yeah.
require that overlap, and
Yeah.
it's cool. It can be done really artfully.
Yeah.
Like Eminem punches in a lot now because it works from a creative standpoint.
Yeah, of
but what I'm
course.
saying is like, if people just think that they could catch a flow and catch a vibe and recreate something that they heard and now they're an MC. Whereas when we were kids, there was a rite of passage of things you needed to do.
Yeah.
Like you needed to write like an exorbitant amount of verses before
Yeah.
you considered yourself you had to have a fucking rhyme book.
Very
you know,
important.
you see what I'm saying? Like you had to be like, look at me, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I've been working.
I've been fucking working,
Yeah.
man. That
It's
was
the
like
same in graffiti.
it was
too,
like it was
right?
more
Like,
blue collar. It
Yeah.
was more blue collar. Now it's more like a rapper is chains and a Hellcat or a fucking Bugatti or
Facts.
you see what I'm saying? Like
it's the
reeks
image of what they
success
think
that it's supposed to
a
be.
rapper is. This
But
is
to
what
you, a
it's
rapper is. But to you, a rapper is like a hoodie and Tim's, or like to you, a rapper is like a beater and like going to like punch a punching bag, or going to go to work, or going to like run up these stairs because you can't afford the gym pass,
man, of course.
or whatever.
Cypher's the speed
the
bag,
hip hop
bro.
elements. You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
Man, it's interesting, bro.
That's crazy.
But
man.
Snack signed me in 2016 to Stealth Bomb. And a year after that, he's like, "Yo, bro, I didn't fuck with you for like a decade because you beat me at that battle." I'm like, "What battle?" He's like, "Well," and then he told me that story. I'm like, "That was you?"
No
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's why I didn't
man.
fuck with you." And I'm like, "Wow, full circle moment." He's like, "I was just bitter and shit."
But that's the pride of all
man.
rappers, right?
so funny, though.
From
Yeah.
our era,
I
it's
didn't
like
even
a,
know
it's a
either.
thing, though. It's a thing. He held on to that. It's like
Yeah.
No,
you
he
hold
told me.
every
I was
L
like,
you ever took.
That was
you
a good
hold that
story.
shit.
That was after a show somewhere. I was like, "What? That was you?" But anyways, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a dope little story,
Yeah, it's
man.
hilarious.
So let's go back to 2011. MTV. Can you touch a little bit about that?
2011, Paris. Yeah. So there was this thing called EOW, End of the Week. They do it all over the world. It was a huge it was like a variety freestyle show, basically. They had like 5 things. You'd pull words out of a hat. You freestyle to a beat that the DJ plays. You got to do like the 10 Fingers of Death. Really weird beats,
Okay.
ambient Indian music. You got to freestyle to it the
Yeah,
best of your
yeah,
ability.
yeah.
Then you got to diss
It's the
other guy.
Olympics.
Yeah,
It's rap
pretty
Olympics.
much, right? It
Like,
was so
that's
they did it in
crazy.
Vancouver the first year in 2011 that they did it in Vancouver. I ended up winning provincials. Then they flew me to Toronto to rep BC. I won the nationals, and they're like, "Yo, if you win tonight,
You going to the shit.
yeah, you're going to Paris."
You
so I was-
go into
literally
this
the next
shit,
day, I was
what?
boom off to Paris. It was all hosted by MTV. Shout out to everybody in Paris. Shout out to Sammy. He knows who that is if he's watching. And yeah, I was a young kid and I represented Canada. Took third. KM from New Jersey, that's my boy. We actually have some records out too. He took first. Tenshu took second. No, he took fourth. Doesn't matter. But I represented Canada in
medaled,
2011.
you medaled,
I medaled
in
out.
the world.
But the funny thing is, I'm not even
world.
Canadian. I'm born in Germany, raised in Italy,
That's
back to Germany, came over
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
repping
yeah.
Canada. But the dope thing
You're a
was,
fucking mutt.
I'm such a mutt. But yeah, MTV hosted the event. I met so many great MCs from all over the world. There was 32 countries were competing, and it was and again, meeting people from Sweden and from Philippines. All together for the same shit, bro, for the essence of all of this. You know what I mean? That's like the segue. Everyone, I don't care if you were 32nd or 31st. We were all ciphering after and hitting radio stations, and it was a beautiful thing to witness. Just different countries, different continents, all together for the same purpose. Such a beautiful thing, man.
That's so dope, bro.
Yeah,
Hip-hop,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. It's just some hip hop shit, you know. That's how I
It's
came
like
up.
it's a magnet. It's literally a
It
magnet
really is,
around the
yeah.
whole
People
world.
together
I met
like
some of my
that,
best,
yeah.
my best friends. I met because of hip hop, you know.
Yeah.
Really have.
Yeah, same here, man. Like my whole entire family's been in it for a while. Like my dad and everyone's been doing the shit in
Sick.
Vancouver for a minute. But so you guys obviously have like really good chemistry just as friends outside of hip hop and shit like that. So I would assume
We just make music, man.
This
I don't even like
album
this
is
guy.
probably crazy. I can't wait to listen to it. Let's touch on the album a little bit.
Of course.
Where does this come from? The whole concept of Gallery of Saints.
It stemmed from conversations. I mean, we say it in every interview, and literally like before every session we link up. We'll like link up, shoot hoops if it's sunny or whatever. 30, 45 minutes. I'll burn one, and we're just having conversations about people, about culture, about history, politics, whatever the case may be. And then we may land on one of these people. And so we have these conversations about people who have been humanized and dehumanized, and people who are infamous and people who are famous and people who are revered, and why are they revered or why are they demonized. And all those conversations led to us kind of talking about how we wanted to do like an expose on modern history, something like the Bible, where it's like you're looking back. If you were looking back 100, 200 years from now, what would you say about these people, and how would you represent them, and how would you encapsulate them into a piece of art, into a music? So we wanted to take all these people who were great for different reasons, or maybe looked at as not great for different reasons, and really humanize them and make them into a piece of art that's tangible, that you could listen to, that kind of like explains their legacy a little bit, but also is just a dope vehicle for us to exercise our skills, right? So it's like picking a style of painting when you can paint in any style, right? So it's like we just kind of like we're like, okay, this is the subject matter, and now we can go anywhere with the beats, because now we've created this concept where the there's no limits. There's only the frame. You feel me? Like there's only the gold frame. You can fit anything. You can go any color, any art style, any instrumental style. You feel me? And like the way that I am as an artist, my like strength is versatility. Where it's like if he's like an AR, just like shooting everything, and I'm like a collection of like a bunch of different like
Casio
explosives and Casio watches, but like explosives and other shit. Like it's like I'm just like super like I'll meld and switch up, whereas like he like brings him and like he will do the slight modifications, but he almost like brings the same essence, which is like this like solid. Like it's a solid chord through the whole album, and then I just kind of like fly around and just like kind of like I'm like a chameleon a little bit, but I feel like that's why it works is because like he's just nasty, so he just finds where he fits on the beats and just does what he does, and like he doesn't have to like really think about it, and then I'm just kind of like, okay, what does this song need? You know what I mean? Okay, it needs like a little bit of this, or it needs this melody.
You're really the conduit, bro. Like he's the conduit of beat selection. I think you picked almost every beat, you know what I mean? I mean, cohesively together, but really his melodies, his ideas, where to find things. Like I would never find those things. That's what I was saying. Branch out of this little coveted area that I had and go over here. Wow, this guy's amazing. This guy's a genius, bro. Like he's my friend, but he's a genius. He's one of my favorite artists in this country, period. Just not even in this country, just period. But I really think you're the conduit, bro, of just the melodies and the beat selection and just how to bring things and making it sequenced in a inordinate, unorthodox manner. He's so good at that and putting things together. I learned so much making this record with him on how to. And I'm not saying I just do 16s and 8-bar hooks, which is traditional, but there's things that you can do that are just like, what? You can do 17 bars, and then you use the 18th bar to be part of the hook, and then like crazy shit. And it was really nice, actually, to work with you on this because I learned a lot just on how your brain works. But he makes it, the thing is, it's easy to say, but he does it in such a fluid manner that it's
you
chaos.
don't recognize it.
It's absolute chaos. But also it's not. It's just, it flows so smoothly. So yeah, like you said, I just fit in where I fit in and do my parts. But cohesively together, it's honestly a masterpiece. One of my favorite albums, period. Just not that I'm on, just period.
Yeah, it's like I'm a fan of it.
I'm
a fan of it. That's what I'm saying. Like
album.
Every verse, and that's like he's like downplaying his part, but I'm saying like the constant of like the level that he's rapping at on every song. It's like when I'm saying there's like a default setting, it's like fucking 97 difficulty setting on every verse throughout the. You see what I'm saying? Like it seems he makes it seem simple or easy what he's doing, and because he's mastered his tones a lot, I feel like his tones on this album is like has shown his growth to where like he's rapping at the same level, but he might be whispering, he might be enunciating at a higher tone, and like so he's like done like a lot of work just himself to like make his skill like this like unstoppable. It's like Shaq dunking, you know what I mean? I'm just Kobe. Like I'll do a finger roll here, I'll hit a 3 here.
But we win in championships.
Yeah, we of course. But it's like he's like it's like almost like a dominant performance that what you put on. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like I don't put a crazy rap verse on every single song. Some of them I don't even have a verse on the record.
Yeah, but when you rap so crazy.
When I rap, I go crazy. No. But I'm just saying it's just like he almost taught me something too, because that represents the way he does business and the way he gets deadlines done and shit. He's just very on it. I'm very like thinking about the details of the art, but I'm all over the fucking place. I'm putting 2-3 weeks on it, and he's like, man, we got to get this shit done because like this comes out now. You see what I'm saying? So it's like my weaknesses are his strengths and vice versa.
It's beautiful having that balance. Man.
Yeah, and that works from a musical standpoint, but also as creatives on all levels when it comes to making shirts, selling stuff, splitting the money, all, the way that our brains think, it works, man. It's like it doesn't usually work like that with people, you know what I mean? Like
friendship though, this album beyond the greatness musically, we've like fostered a crazy friendship that'll last forever, and it's embodied in this record, which is, I don't even care if we sell one copy of this record, I'm just blessed to be able to make great art that I love, be a fan of, and on top of that bond and have a crazy friendship with someone that's you can't. I mean, it's like one of the greatest gifts you can get is making art with one of your best friends and loving the shit you do, and then other people like it too.
And then we got family and friends on the beats, basically.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like
dope.
on most of the beats, it's like family and friends, like
Facts, bro.
which is like it adds to that blessing. You know what I mean? Like the whole project's engineered by one person, a good friend, like a family friend. Like
It's beautiful.
It's just like we were blessed to make this, so it's almost like the booklet and everything along with the album and the concept. The reason why we took so long to formulate it and to make it what it is was because like we like felt that it deserved it, and that even if, as he said, one person listens to it, 1 million people listen to it, or 100 million. We'd love 100 million, but we'll take 1 million. And if we hit 1 million, then we want to gift those people with something special. Because now a song with 1 million plays is like, it's just a flash in the pan. There's billions. Now we're looking at that that third comma. You feel me? Like now we're looking at that third comma on all like the major artist songs. So like, if we're blessed to be in the millions, there's kids that have 100 monthly listeners, bro, that are just trying to get to 1,000, right? So like, there's always something to chase. There's always a number to chase. And we removed ourselves from that so much on this one because we realized we drop a single, it would get on all the playlists. And it would get X amount of plays. Then we drop a single, gets on no playlist, gets the same amount of plays. So we're like we feel like we were just getting
Just make the art.
Just make the art. Yeah,
Make the fucking
detach yourself, artists. Young artists, do not get caught up in the numbers. Do not get caught up in any of that stuff because that stuff is a lie. And all you need to do is to be able to articulate yourself to a fan base. And even if there's 10 people in the crowd and you sell one hoodie, that's better than 1 million monthly listeners, right? Like that's the concept, man.
Be proud of your numbers, whatever they are.
Yeah, of
10,
course.
100, 1 million, a billion.
It's part of it.
But make the art first, you know? It's like, that's what it's about. That's what is today's world is lacking. People are just, like you said, TikTok, boom, 10 million views, boom, headlining, Rolling Loud. He's never performed in his life.
Yeah.
People are...
How many artists fall off
mean?
like that? Artists fall off like that. I've worked with artists that got so much notoriety and clout and did one performance and their whole shit was shut down.
It's work.
Off one performance.
It's work. Jordan didn't become Jordan just by shooting hoops in Game 6 of his first playoff game. He's been working, and then you got to work. It's just like anything. Put the work in so you can actually... It's about the journey. It's not the 0 to 60. People just want to go to 60. Yo, enjoy when you're at 31 and 35, too. It's all about the journey and working your way there. That's when you become... That's when you have longevity, too, you know? I'm not the biggest artist by any means, but I've been working so long that I'm going to have a career for the next 20 years because I've built real grassroots longevity type shit. I'm not fake. I communicate to everybody. I show humility and just respect to so many people. You know what I mean? And that's all part of it too. Is like mastering yourself while mastering your craft. So
that's a big one.
Yeah.
Lots of artists dumb themselves down and stuff when they get into
or articulate
money,
themselves
right?
in the wrong way when it comes to like relationships.
Yeah.
Like you could just literally burn bridges and be the dopest artist, but if you burn bridges, like people will like just cut you off. Like they'll cut off the water. You know what I mean?
100%.
Especially in this economy where people can barely afford a damn hoodie or a ticket to a concert. You feel me? Like I'm blessed to be able to afford what I can afford, and I'm not rich by any means, but I'm blessed to be able to afford a decent lifestyle in this economy, which is a difficult economy, man. Like, so like as an artist, that all comes into the fabric of what we do, right? You know what I mean? Like it makes a difference because people are trying to make money off streaming, which you need hundreds of millions of streams to be able to make an actual livable income off of just streaming. You need to be making like doing hundreds of millions of streams within a year, each calendar year. Like it needs to be hundreds of millions in order to really live off of that. So I think people are a little bit confused about how you live as an artist, and a guy like this is someone who could actually teach people. And like we've done independent artist camps, and like just his whole energy is like he's that DIY guy, so he is kind of teaching the younger artists, and he does feel a little bit of a responsibility to be like, you know, I screwed up there, don't do that.
Oh, I fucked up so
and
many
have
times.
humility to be like, no, you know what, you're right, this didn't work. And we've been doing that throughout the whole creation of this album. Like we'll try something one way, and if it doesn't work, we're like, yo, scrap that, do it this way. You know what I'm saying? Like don't be so tied to your vision as to you're gonna like stop the progress. Just get the shit done, you know.
Be adaptable.
Yeah, well, that's where shit comes out of nowhere, and then you're like, oh no, that's actually let's keep that.
Yeah, man.
So the chemistry, I think that's a major part in something like, especially a collab project between two artists, is having that chemistry outside of the studio. Whenever I'm listening to like music in general, especially when someone's really killing it, I'm always trying to picture in my head, like, okay, like, was this in a booth? Was this in a closet? Like, what was this in a stew? Give the viewers a bit of behind the scenes of like your production process and like writing process when you're recording these tracks.
For sure. I mean, you can start with the writing process even.
I mean, the whole process in this, well, shout out to the back end recording in Vancouver. IR Evan, Freelance Flint, MH Boys, all those people. We created pretty much 80% of the album there, I'd say.
Yeah.
So a typical day is, he's burning one down on the basketball courts. We'll have conversations, whatever. Then we'll take it to the studio, sit there, play some beats, maybe that are fresh, maybe that ones that he was thinking of or we were sitting on, and we'll just play them. And then he'll smoke another one, and then no, but the conversations, since we had the conversations, are subconscious. Since we're having them together, when we go to the studio, the beats that we're playing, we already know that we're going to use this beat because we've just had a conversation, and we're so in tune that it's like, this beat is going to cater to what we were just speaking of, you know? So we play a beat or two, continue that conversation, and then it's like, oh, hold on a minute. He's got a melody. So he'll write something. He writes so quick, too. It's incredible. A lot of these records, anyways, he'll come up with a melody, and, I think this is good. And then I'll be like, you know what? That fits for this person, Griselda Blanco or whatever, right? And that makes sense. Then we tie it all together. So that's kind of initially the process, and then but nothing is written. We just it's a blank canvas, just like right here, you know what I mean? Everything is made on the spot. We have combos, we go to the studio, we pick a beat, he comes up with a melody, or maybe comes up with 2 bars that pertains to one of these people on the album list, and then we'll sit there and we'll just write the shit. He'll write it in his phone, me on the computer, whatever it may be. We'll just write it right there. Check out these 8 bars. Oh, okay, so you said that? Yeah. Okay, let me say this. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so likely the first hour to 2 hours of our session is like we're already have everything written by the end of that.
But we did write everything other than maybe 2 songs, an exception, where he did something before, and he's like, bro, this is an old idea, I want to revisit it kind of thing. But I'd say 85-90% of this album is all made on the spot. Just together in a room, listening to each other's lyrics, link ups. That's why our back and forth shit is crazy. Because what you got? Okay, hold on. Boom, that fits that, and then everything is built together in full unison together. Beat selection, writing, everything. So it's mad cohesive. The chemistry is crazy because of that, I think.
Yeah.
Which I've never done. I've never made a full album with someone in the room together every second that we were doing it, and he's tracking.
I'm the engineer, so
he engineered.
It's just me and him.
Yeah,
it's like there's no other outside influences.
So where's Evan?
Evan didn't record much of this album. He produced some of the album.
But he runs that back end recording
that's
studio.
his studio, so he just graced us with the ability to get in on the times we needed. And we work in
Does
the
a lot of shit for me,
Yeah,
though.
and we work in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? So Evan tracks most of his stuff, but because I track, it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
If we need Evan to mix or consolidate or anything like that, he does a lot of that. But for this album, it was all going to Jamie.
It's just us too.
So it makes it real streamlined because I'm sitting there recording. So some of it we recorded right off the desk. Like
in
sitting in the control room.
Yeah.
Some of it in the booth.
Yeah.
Some of it in the booth at Nova, and some of it at my studio Collab, which was in the booth or off the desk. So it was only a few mics, maybe 3 or 4 mics were used on the album. All really, really dope microphones, but it was a pretty close knit, like in terms of like it was 3 studios that worked on the project, but like it's like my brother and then like his main engineer, right? So it was like, and then my studio. So it was like it was very like easy to like bounce around, and everything doesn't sound like it was made in different places. It's very like a cohesive.
And it was made
record.
over 2 years too.
Yeah,
we
2
took
years.
almost 2 years, and not because we're slow. It was just a natural process of
because of how we do it.
we do
you
it.
were on tour as well, right?
Touring, I mean, touring, family, it's a lot of life stuff going on. But we're not like, we got 3 days to make an album, which I've also done, But this was more when it's done type of thing. You know what I mean? Just a lot of link ups, hangouts, laughs, and just whatever.
We're doing like max 2 songs a session because of the way that we're doing it. It's not like we're going there with like a bunch of records prepared.
Picking the beats, writing,
if we
recording,
had
and
written
mixing it a bit though. In those
and
sessions.
mixing. Yeah. So we leave with a full mixed demo at the end of every session of whatever record or 2, depending on what we're working on.
Yeah. But we left the the finalized mixing and mastering, which we also sat in on everything. We left that for Jamie Hughes at Nova Studios, which mixes and masters. He's been doing this shit for like 11 years. But
and we literally we sat in on all the mixes.
Everything.
We spent the time because it was just important to us to get every detail. We had a little demo-itis just because the demos were so damn good that we already had
such demo.
Yeah, we already had the vision like so well articulated that it was like, okay, we have to really make sure we hit this. So we had to go back and reverse engineer some stuff once he had his versions that were super clean and sounded amazing, but they were missing these little elements that were in the demos. We had to go back and get certain beat chops, certain verifies, certain little elements, and make sure that they were in there, right? Because you lose a stem here or you lose whatever the case may be. So you kind of like from like demo to like 6.0, you lose stuff sometimes, right? So we had to like literally go back and be like, nah, we need these original imperfections in the
those imperfections
clean.
are
that's the meat of the album.
Can you imagine if they cleaned up 36 chambers, like super clean?
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be the same thing. So
yeah, it's like taking this like the texture out of the food, right? It's like pureeing everything,
It's like eating beef with yams.
Yeah, just dog food.
Just dog food. Dog water. That boy, dog.
That's crazy, man. Is there anything else you guys want to tell the people out there about this project?
Man, just like if you have time, take it in, and it doesn't need to be taken in as an album, but it'll gift you as a story if you take it in as an album. But because the records are like a standalone piece of art, you could go to the art gallery and look at all the pieces, or you could just see one painting and it could impact you. So like, if any of these names speak to you, just tap in on one of the records, Serena Williams, Terry Fox, whoever, and just see if that song speaks to you and see if it encapsulates kind of like what you see in that celebrity or that figure. And then if that rocks with you, then step into the world, and step into the full world of the gallery, man.
And if you're in Vancouver or, BC or whatever, and you want to see everything we just discussed, live official album release party, November 28th, Fortune Sound Club with some crazy performers on the bill and artists on the bill, but November 28th, Fortune Sound Club, Gallery of Saints official live album release party.
November 28th, yeah. So like it'll be a couple months after the album releases, so it gives a chance for everyone to kind of like encapsulate it, but we're going to celebrate it near the end of the year.
And we got the crazy video drop.
Yeah, and we got a crazy video dropping.
A crazy video. A movie, bro.
Yeah. Fuck, eh?
Yeah.
So that's November 28th, Fortune Sound Club. Everybody in Van City, make sure you keep updated for that flyer.
Yes.
I'll be there. That'll be a dope event.
It's gonna be a vibe.
So I don't know if you guys want to wrap it up or whatever, but I kind of wanted to touch a little bit more.
I'll talk for hours, bro. So it's up to you.
Back-end recording studio. How did that kind of get formulated? When did it get formulated? And can you tell us a bit about that?
I mean, that one, it's literally a long story, and it's ironic because when we met up in 2019, we did Do or Die. This is like when we first actually like met. We met in 2007, never really talked for a dozen years. 2019, we meet because he's hanging out with my brother, IR Evan, and Freelance Flint. And this is like pre-back end, but my brother had like a guest house studio in like its shed type of thing in the back. East Van Alley shit, right? And that's why I used to make my music in the back. So I was working on my stuff. Evan was working on his stuff, Money Hungry XYZ. And Junk comes into the picture because he starts hanging out with my brother. So that we meet, and then Evan was like, yo, y'all just got to work. Like two geniuses. He's like, y'all just got to y'all got to do this. Like he just basically like forced Junk. He was just like, I don't know what you're doing.
But I needed Evan to be like, all right. He needed to vouch for either.
Yeah, he needed to vouch on both sides for either of us. But he was like really like you just need to work with my brother. Like I don't know what you're doing. Like you're killing it. But like you need to make a song with my brother. So we made Do or Die, and like we literally sat for one day, talked while the producer made the beat, and we had our input on the beat. We helped arrange the beat, and then the beat got exported. He left. I made the hook when he was gone. And then I sent the hook to him, and he did his verses like away. But it was like that song did so well, and like that song just created this bond between us of like this friendship. It was really weird and ironic. And then from that moment, that shed turned into where the front is, which was once a clothing store, which is now 24-hour snacks.
Yeah.
That front was actually like the front of a storage that some of our family was renting to hold gear in, and then where the back end was just a storage for speakers. The front was a store, but it wasn't even a store at this point. We had a studio in the front, and it was just like a ragtag studio gear. I was working in there. They guys would party. I'd come clean up all the bottles.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID time. So I would come and just clean up all the party stuff and then do my work in the morning. And then this is when me and him started to work a little bit, was at the very beginning of this. And then that formulated into the front, the back end, the event space at the back, which is now there's 24-hour snacks. So it's been like throughout COVID, these guys like just kind of like gutted it and created something, which is crazy because
Silver lining
a
of the
lot
COVID.
of companies failed during that same time, you know.
man.
So it was really cool for them to see, and they did it for the community, right? So just to see like Camilo, Rico, the whole Money Hungry
Hungry
team.
Rico, and you got the block parties. Now
Yeah,
too,
exactly, right. That's
Right here,
shout out,
bro.
right? So and then to have my little brother, like that's like his family, and then me and him created this like other friendship that was like kind of separate from that, but like it was inspired by them kind of like ushering us together,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
So this is how hip hop works, which is really crazy because like now me and him have a crazy friendship. We have like a common sobriety, and we have all these other common like lifestyles that work, and we're working on work together, but it's art. So it's like, it's ironic, bro. And then to see Rico and those guys thriving with the block party, like helping the community and also making like cultural ups, you know, like upping the people, trying to help the younger people, trying to do work and add art to the scene. And I feel like that's part of the beginning of our conversation, which is the ecosystem growing and more people.
Without them, I wouldn't link with you.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's like freelance Flint, like Rico, like he's like, not only is he a rapper, but he's a video guy. He's a jack of all trades, but like that's very LA. That's very New York. You have more just creatives, people who are just adding to the scene by bringing their unique blend of creation. And it doesn't have to be bars. It doesn't have to be a video director, but it could be a combination of those things. You could be
Conduit.
you could be a graphic designer, you could be a fashion designer, you could be whatever. That could be another skill that you have. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, don't shun any of your skills. Just create art and fucking share the shit and foster those relationships, because it's ironic because the friendship is like the dopest part of us connecting and making music together. Is just the fact that it's like now we have these memories tied to these tangible pieces of art that are like a time capsule for life, you know, which is what we intended to make the project, was like a time capsule. It's like if someone opens up this project in 100 years, it's like a capsule of like a generation, you know what I mean, or like a time in history, you know. So
fuck, bro,
it's crazy.
Okay, so the collab thing, you know, segueing to a different studio. You guys had the event where you had like a weekend course or something where a bunch of locals would come through and you'd kind of teach them the basics of music industry and art and all that kind of stuff. Why is it important for people to attend those events?
I mean, I'll take it to like the essence of that. Like Collab Creative is something that I created through my youth work in the province, and I run a bunch of educational music programs for youth, and we teach them how to songwrite, record, music produce, anything pertaining to music production, even like creating artwork, distributing music. So I've been running programs like that since 2019, and I have a youth studio in Surrey and a youth studio in North Vancouver, and we used to have a location in Vancouver as well, but essentially I run these programs, and I started working with youth and teaching them as like a therapeutic tool to get kids out of the house, or to kids who weren't able to go to school, kids who weren't able to be in certain social situations. It was like a safe way for them to be involved in the rap culture, which they're thriving for, these kids, but they're in at-risk situations. They can't just like go to a studio where there's alcohol, drugs, all these other situations, right? So I was trying to create like a safe path for them to become what they wanted to become, because I walked that path in an unsafe way. So those programs led to me like mastering the ability to like educate, and also teaching myself like the engineering and production skills, and like really like becoming this jack of all trades, where I could like use my youth worker skills, my ability to connect with kids, and educate my skills as a parent and my skills as an artist to really teach these kids in like a real professional manner. So like kids that I work with are now like, you know, working with Pressa or working with these other artists, or going here, going there, performing, and they're like becoming part of the industry. So I'm seeing that impact. But when I saw what his skill is, like, not only he's an amazing rapper, one of the best freestylers in the world, but he's this businessman. He's a crazy independent artist businessman. So I was like, bro, like, we need to package this up for adults, for independent artists. So not only are we like educating the youth, but like, you've got something to give to these people who want to like bridge that gap between just being passionate about something and making it into a business, right? So that's where the independent artist camp came from, and it was actually such a success. We only did like a month of promo, and pretty much we're like almost full in that place. And we want to do more of those, and that's something that we're looking towards doing more of, is more educational stuff for the industry, because I think it's important. You know what I mean? Could even be something we collaborate on with a cypher type of situation where it's more of a group education, and I think that's the kind of stuff that, because of the collab energy, like, came from the youth, and that's the essence of hip hop and the essence of just teaching people. So that's where those camps came from, was just like my passion to teach youth and his ability to like have so much valuable knowledge for young artists. And I was like, bro, this is like, you're a teacher, you know what I'm saying? And like,
made a lot of errors, so I got a lot of things
man.
I can offer, you know what I mean? So,
and it was,
but kept going through the errors.
And it was a one time where like I was able to just step back and let someone else teach, and like, he was really just like, because he had all that, and he was like, yo, like, I really like, you know, he was like, damn, like, I know a lot of like valuable shit.
No,
like,
it's cool. It was introspective for me too, but I really liked sharing knowledge or just anything. I mean, I can't tell you how many DMs. Sometimes it's overbearing, but just, how do I do this? How do I do that? And a lot of that came, I was like, man, people ask me shit every single day, and that's fine. I'm super grateful for it. I can't answer everything. I try to, but that's why I was like, if we put this together in a small little package or something, you can come and you can really learn something, because
for people that are really passionate.
I do get asked about things all the time, you know what I mean? And I'm not some guru of the industry, but I've people see me working, failing, succeeding. I just keep going. That's what all it is just stay at it. Don't stop. Do not quit. You know, that's really the basis of all of it. So
yeah, man. Confront the fear, don't quit, all that.
Just like
segue,
a cipher, bro.
Segue,
I brought that cipher
segue.
mentality into business too. You have to be that way.
Yeah, on the spot, because you're always on the spot at the end of the day, right?
So I'm sure that comes with a lot of trials and tribulations. Is there anything out there that you want to tell the people, something memorable that has stuck with you, something along those lines, like what to do, what not to do, just like spit knowledge to people that are trying to come up in the scene? What would you say is step one?
To be honest, I used to have a different answer. A few years ago, I would have answered it differently. But now, to me, the number one most important thing is, he touched on this earlier, it's the relationship you have with people. You're good at something, someone is not, you don't give them any time of day, you just brush them off. Fuck this guy, what's he going to do for me?
Yeah.
That shit bit me in the ass. I was an arrogant, whatever, self-centered ego maniac, you know what I mean? Like, we need the egos, but I was really about that for a while, like, you know, and filled with substances and alcoholism too, which didn't help that. But what I learned is everybody has their purpose and their time in your path in this life. So don't cross anybody, even if just don't give off negative energy to people that really don't deserve it, you know, even if maybe they can't help you. And I'm not just talking rap or music, in anything. If some guy asks you for help, you don't know him, help him. You know, you don't know when that person or a person he's helped in the future might actually be the missing piece for you to get somewhere further. So I've learned the hard way. I've lost some relationships, but it's also, I've rebuilt those. I've actually apologized to people and came back, and it's all about relationships, man. Treat people with kindness and respect and be humble. However good you are, whatever craft you may be doing, just treat people with respect, because nobody's better than the next person. You know what I mean? So, and I find that if you have this ego and this attitude, which is like, I'm better than everybody, people remember that, and it's going to come and bite you in the ass in the future, you know, either in the distant future or the near future. It will come back to bite you in the ass. So people remember kindness, you know what I mean? People in the future will always want to help someone out from the past if they remember them as a positive person as opposed to a negative person. So that, to me, beyond being, of course, be persistent, practice your craft, be passionate about whatever you're doing, find great people. There's so many things I could tell you what you need to do, but number one to me is really be kind to people and be humble and show respect to everybody at all times, because that's going to get you a lot further than just a skill set in this business and in any business, I believe.
100%.
In life in general.
Honor.
In life in general.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%, man. I agree with that one, man. I don't got too much to add to it because, like, I feel like that comes before all the other step ones that you could take, right? Because I feel like if you're not doing it with integrity and you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in your like code of like how you're gonna stick to it, you're gonna get washed away so quickly as soon as things get difficult, as soon as it rains, as soon as it floods, as soon as it's windy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be very steadfast on this mission. So if you don't have a code of ethics and a code of honor, then as soon as the money comes or the pussy comes or the clout comes, what's gonna happen? You're gonna crumble because you don't have a clear path, that you haven't built the foundation of like, this is what I do and this is what I'm not willing to do. People don't set those boundaries for themselves, and then they end up waking up one day like, who the fuck am I? And then we see that with celebrities. We see that with people in history, in the Bible, in every book. It's like the people that kind of lose themselves are the ones that wake up one day and they're like, how did I get here? But it's like, those are all your own decisions.
Yeah,
You feel me? Like, so it's like, he's right. Like, it's about kindness and it's about integrity and it's about having fun and passion. It's kind of like if you were teaching a kid. Like, I coach kids. So it's like you take a kid into basketball at 7 years old or whatever. What are you trying to teach him? You're trying to teach him the rules, of course, and you're trying to teach him the concept of the game. But number one, you're trying to teach him that it's fun and that you have to try hard and you have to like win and lose, and you know what I mean? You have to like earn what you get, right? So it's the same in any passion that you're passionate about, bro. It's about the fun and it's about being integral, right? It's like you don't just kick people's feet out. You beat them fair and square, right? So the same in hip hop. It's like we don't need to throw dirt in each other's eyes in order to like prove we're better than the other person. Like, if you got that like angst, put that into your music. Don't put that into your attitude at the venue. Don't be a dickhead in the green room to the other artists. Because some of these niggas will smack you in your face. A, even fans will smack you in your fucking face for being a punk. But B, it will come around and it'll get you, bro. Because you'll be trying to get into this world, and then that'll be the person who's now the gatekeeper, who is now not that 19-year-old snivelly ass kid. He's now clouted. He's now the kid with the fucking wide leg pants and the chunky shoes. Who's like, yo, nah, you don't get into the party. You feel me? Like,
100%.
It happens quick to people, bro. Like, so kindness and integrity is like literally like, it is the most important thing. Just like in any profession or any passion, you know what I'm saying? So I agree with that one.
I fuck with that heavy. So I just wanted to speak on touring real quick. I know you just recently had the tour.
Which one?
That we what was it called?
No Water in Hell and Still No Water. Yeah, no,
that album was dope. I like this track with you, like about your sister or some shit.
Angelina.
That one's really, really dope.
Thanks, bro.
Because I seen you posted it the other day, and I was like, let me check this one out. I haven't heard this one, and I was like, fuck, like this one's
sick.
This one's fire.
It was her birthday, I think, so I reshared it because it was her birthday.
Yeah. That's so like back to like the whole tour thing. Do you guys have any like crazy stories of working with like venues or trying to get these tours going and shit like that? Is there anything that really sticks with you?
All my memories, I mean, he's probably got way more memories of like putting tours together and stuff. The tours I went on, I was like opening for bigger artists, and I never went, like I've never grinded out and booked my own tours. Like by the time I got to that point, I was already like retiring the first time. Like, so my memories of touring are like funny shit that like I saw like borderline famous people do and shit, like shit that I saw Crazy Bone and do in a hotel room, or like stuff that I've seen Dead Prez do, or shit that I've heard Travis Scott say at a sound check, you know, like about Subway or about, you know, the FAG word or whatever, crazy stuff about like, that's kind of like where all my funny memories come from, is just like these random moments in my life. But I feel like he has more like logistical like viewings of like crazy things that have happened. He's probably been in a city where like they canceled all his hotel rooms, or like planes getting canceled, getting stopped by international police in Europe.
It's fucking horrible,
He
bro.
called me in Europe one time. He's like, I'm on the highway, like SWAT team. We got drugs.
We got, bro. I mean, that's like, I don't even know how to answer this question. There's too many, man. But yes, I remember that. Logistics. Yeah, I booked a lot of my own tours. Like I said, promoters and booking agents, you know, there's not too many. And obviously a lot of people want to just work with people that bring in the crowds, right? They want booking agents and managers. They knock on the doors of people that are generating money typically, you know. And not to say that I don't generate money, but at the level for a booking agent to be interested to work with me all the time exclusively, I don't do 800 people in a venue, you know what I mean? I'm lucky to do 200, 250, you know, in a good, like in Vancouver, Edmonton, or places like that. And that's West Coast stuff, and I got to work hard, street team, blah, blah, blah. But so for me, I'm still rocking shows with 300 people and then 40 people or 60 people in smaller communities. You Clue-Lit, and I'm going all over the place, but that's beside the fact. But what I've learned is if you do this yourself and you're okay and you put your ego aside, some people say 30 people in a show, I'm not even promoting, I'm not telling anybody about this. But if you don't do that as an independent artist in this country, if you're not willing to rock the 300 to 500, then you get some opening slots where there's 1,500 at the Commodore exhibit, blah, blah, blah. That's all the perks of the job. But logistically speaking, to make this a career, you got to start here and you got to do the full circle. And in that circle, there's those little shows up north or just in the middle of nowhere on a Tuesday night where there's 18 people, 20 people, but you got to rock. You know
but if you
what I
don't
mean?
ingratiate yourself with these communities, then how do you expect to put that on your list next time? You expect to blow up and come through? Like, he knows these people. Like, he's personally addressing the autographs. Like,
100%.
I told him when I first met him, like, in 2019, which wasn't the first time, but, like, the first time we really reconnected, I said, I'm like, bro, like, I bet you most of your fans are, like, rappers or wannabe rappers. And he was like, he thought it was, like, not a slight, but he was kind of, like, laughing like it was a joke. But I'm like, no, that's almost like a superpower, though, because they're really invested in you. And they're, like, people who are, like, do cypher or are really passionate about the art. So they're like connoisseur types, you know what I mean? So, like... And because he really goes in there and connects with these people, with the Strictly Cypher, with going to these small towns, doing these small shows, and making these people feel special still. He still puts it down a set like as if there's 1,000 people. And because he's got the 1,000-show experience, they're getting this, like, stadium-level performance in this tiny
on a
venue.
fucking karaoke system.
On a Tuesday in fucking St. John's or whatever. But he's giving them his all. And then, like, he'll still make, you know, he'll still sell his merch. He'll, like, those people are going to support him. Those people are going to make sure he gets good meals and he gets gifts. And if he smoked weed, he would get the best weed. And if
They still give me weed,
they
bro.
still, you know what I mean? Like, he's still getting blessed. But it's like the laws of abundance are that he doesn't think he's too good for these communities. And they're the ones that hold him over when he needs to go on a run and make some bread. Like,
sometimes in those 40-person bangers, I'll sell all my merch. You know why? Because everyone's buying everything I have. You know
feel
what I
like
mean?
they're a part of
in
it.
the city, it's like, oh, I gotta buy more blow or something.
or
like
not
that,
even that. They're just
whatever.
like, oh, I'm too cool to rock this guy's merch or whatever. But in the small towns, everyone feels like they're a part of it, and he makes them feel a part of it because.
big
And I hang out with
Bro.
them. There's no, yo, are you doing a meet and greet? Yeah, right now, motherfucker. Like, take a picture, kick it with me. So I hang out with everybody, and obviously, when you're at a certain level, you can't do that. You can't hang out with 5,000 people in a night every single night. That's why there's green rooms and all that shit. But in these smaller communities, I love it. I go there, and that's part of this infrastructure of independent. That's the shit we teach in their class, too, is you got to be okay with that. If you're not okay with that, then you're only going to be doing 20 shows a year, and you're opening for XYZ, and
Pay to
maybe a couple
play.
of your own shows, pay to play, which is, let's not even get into that. That's a whole other...
But if you're lucky and you have the pull, you're only going to do 10, 20
what I'm
shows
saying.
of, like, these
Yeah, I hear
favorable
you.
spots that where people call you and say, hey, Method Man and Redman are coming. We need you to do this or this person and that person. Like, you're not always going to get a fan base just, like, plattered up to you. Like a crowd of 2,000 like, I got spoiled when I was younger doing on these tours with 3-6 Mafia and all this and playing to, like, 5,000 people or playing at Shambhala or playing at North by Northeast and getting spoiled. Like, I'm on a Red Bull semi-truck that folds open into a stage on Yonge and Dundas Square. And there's, like, 50,000 people walk around. And it's Toronto,
fuck your
so
head up,
people,
though, too.
it fucks your head up, though, because then it's harder to play those 50-person shows, right? So I almost am a different. It's like I almost, like, got discouraged by not doing that. So I almost went a different path, which changed my outcome in music, which made me more of an educator, more of a youth worker, more of these other things. Not that it changed my chase of the mastery of the craft, but it changed my individual artist career path, you feel me? Which is why there's that block of, like,
100%.
I did this and this, and then I had this trajectory, and then I was kind of just stopped for years, and then now I'm back, but not really trying to chase anything. I'm just trying to make the dopest shit that I can make. I don't really care about the whole at the part of it. You know what I mean? I don't even get myself caught
But
up
it
in
is a part of it. If
But
you
it is
want to
a
do
part of
that,
it.
you know?
Yeah, you have
got to
to.
be okay with it. I'm okay. I love performing so much that I just didn't take no as an answer. I just said, this is what I'm going to do. I don't care. Whatever it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting the 300 people to show up in my Vancouver show or Edmonton show
Well, I find-
without doing the shit for 10, 12 years, doing these circuits nonstop. Every year I hit communities I haven't even heard of before. I just go there like, you're playing here? I'm like, fucking rights, I'm playing here. Like, I want to
Yeah.
meet the people here. I want to connect with them. I want to show them my
And
music,
even
my
if
art.
even if 5 or 10 of them become real fans, that's
Yeah.
way different than the Spotify algorithm
100%,
or
bro.
Instagram followers. You can have 100,000
100.
Instagram followers and sell no T-shirts.
Bruh, I know people that have
no T-shirts.
I know people that have 10 times my whatever followers on the gram, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They can't sell 10
They
tickets.
can't sell
to
a damn
show. Like
t-shirt.
in a bigger city.
Can't
And
sell a t-shirt.
I can say I can do that, you know, which again, I'm not selling out arenas,
But if you have 100 people who
I'm
are
good.
willing to invest $1,000 in you, that's a lot more valuable than a million people invest in $1 or
Facts.
invest in 10 cents in you. You know what I mean? It's just how it works, right? So,
facts.
No, I hear you, man. For sure. It's those diehard
Nurture your
supporters.
fans in all the pockets. You know what I mean? If you show up, you shake. I call it shaking hands, making fans. That's what I do. It's just people remember you. You
Yeah.
know, if you're good to them, if you're kind and you respect them, they'll remember you and you'll turn them into friends / fans, whatever. And that's, like I said, that's why that shit's the most important, is being kind and humble and respectful everywhere you go. You know,
And that's the non-glorified version. You feel me? Like hip hop is so glorified, and like people sell you this dream of like you got to be gangster or you got to be like untouchable. You got to wear the sunglasses on stage. It's like, but if you're really gonna walk the whole path from like nobody to somebody, like how is that authentic or real in any way, shape, or form? It's like it would be like rapping about being rich when you have no money. Like that's not the reality. So like he's just serving it to people how it is
so many
when
people
it's
do.
when it's at. It's like he probably has more money than he talks about, but because that's not what he's talking about, that's not the focus, right? You know. So-
I seen this thing like it was saying like your city where you're from is gonna be the last city that fucks with you, and it's pretty much just like the ego thing, right? Like people see that you're doing stuff, they see you're building like a career, and then they just kind of don't want to really pay any attention to that. Also hate on that,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, you blow up and you're selling out shows in like Germany or wherever,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like let's go check this guy."
Classic.
Out. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this, man. This comes to anything to do with the word trends, okay? Nobody wants to be first. Everybody wants to be early. You feel me? No one wants to be first. No one wants to be the first guy to wear tight pants. But once a few people wear tight pants and it becomes hot, everyone wants to be early to the tight pants.
Big fact,
But then when baggy pants start popping, the first people to wear it, they look weird. They look like, oh shit, my bad. They look like emos. They look like, goth or something else. It looks out of the norm. It looks like Playboy Cardi wearing the weird but now baggy pants are now normal. So now 35-year-olds and 42-year-olds are getting the wide leg jeans again, and they're like, oh, they want to be early, but no one wants to be first. So that's what it comes down to with like rap, with anything. Is like people are scared to like try the new thing or do it and like stand on it, but people want to act like they were on something early. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's the too cool for school, but still want to be, of
course,
like at the party, but I want to be late to the party.
I told you
know?
it was dope. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't,
know what I mean?
motherfucker. You know
Fuck
what I
outta
mean?
here,
Like,
dude.
yeah.
That's what it is, though. I mean, it's swollen. That happened to them too. They blew up
And
in
that's
Japan.
what and that's what
Came back,
Vancouver will,
boom.
and Vancouver will be the same. You feel me? Like by the time like you'll see it even in the microcosm of Jay Worthy or any other artist from Vancouver that's popping, is like the hate and the negativity and the vitriol that these artists get from within the city. People are like, yo, this guy's whack. Whether it's I've said him 3 times, BB No Money or Mercules or a bunch of other artists, Manila Gray. I could go down the list. I could keep saying artists, you know what I mean? But like, I don't want to do too many because people get sensitive. So those types of levels of artists who've achieved some level of success outside of the city, a lot of the times they only really receive hate until they're really popping. And then they're playing with Kendrick or they're doing X, Y, Z, and everyone's like, oh, like I used to know him at this time, or like, yo, like, oh, actually, he's actually kind of dope, or like whatever the
That's
case
classic,
may be.
bro.
So it's like they want to be early, but they don't want to be first. You feel me? They don't
Yeah.
want to champion it.
Yeah.
They don't want to jump on the bandwagon of like, yo, this is the next guy. They want to wait till he gets the belt, and then they're like, yo, he's the guy. It's like, yo, dog.
He's
like,
our national hero.
yeah, cheer for him when he's the underdog. You
But I
feel
do.
me? So-
We get love in Van though too.
We know we do.
I'm not saying we
get
don't.
a lot of love. We get a lot.
I
of love.
feel like pretty happy and good about the love
Yeah.
get in Vancouver. So I don't want to.
But in
I know
general-
what you mean. Like that's just a thing, and I've been.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I just want to reiterate the fact that I do feel like I get love in
get a
Vancouver.
lot of
Just-
100%.
I love Vancouver, and I feel like it loves me back. But I know what you're saying, and this is not a new concept. You know what I mean? It happens.
It's a human element.
Yeah.
That no one, like, people want to be cool, but they don't want to, like, jump on something too early and then be like looked at like, oh, it's not official yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Vancouver people going to Toronto and then flexing that they're in Toronto doing something that seems more official than as if they did it in Vancouver. You know what I'm saying? As if it's cooler now.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, more black people per capita. Like, what makes it more official? You know what I'm saying? Like no disrespect, but I'm just saying, like, we always make the other thing more cool. Like, when I was a kid in the black community in Vancouver, the coolest thing was like if you went to the States, or if your cousin came from the States, or if you, everything was about American black people. And we were forgetting that, like, we're Canadian, even if we were African American roots, some of us, right? But it was this irony behind, like, we grailed the States as if it was this really cool thing. And back then, no one cared about Toronto. No one was going to Toronto being like, yo, Toronto's cool. We didn't think Toronto was cool back then. It took some time, right? But that in 10, 15 years, I'm sure we'll be looking back and people will be like, yo, Vancouver's got the illest weed. Like, it's the Northern California. It's blah, blah. You know, like, it may take 25 years, who knows, but eventually we'll have this cultural standing where, like, the city will have an age to it. Our city is young. That's just, it's a simple time thing, right? Like, Canada is a young country. There's not as much establishment in here. We're 150 something years old. US is what, like 400 years old? Like, you know what I'm saying? So simply within time, culture crystallizes over time. You need layers.
Facts.
Like, New York has so many layers of history, bro. By the time you are born on those streets in 1970 something and you're coming into the inception of hip hop, imagine how much culture you're, like, standing on and around, like, to be inspired by and to be challenged with. And I think that, like, Vancouver has it, but it's gonna take that time, bro.
It's developing.
Yeah.
Vancouver definitely has it, bro. Like, you know, one thing, like, Ghetto and I, and just, like, Icon hip hop as a whole, like, we've been at it for about 3 years now, just, like, throwing these public ciphers and shit. And, like, we, like, you know, I referred it to, like, drugs, like, keep chasing that high of the cipher and, like, trying to get the most rappers, like, trying to get this guy, like, come through and let's, like, build these clips and shit, because we want to be able to not only, like, showcase Vancouver as a whole, but we would like to spread out. And, like, you know, we just got back from LA, like, last month. And, you know, our mission with that was to just go down there, shake hands, find the other ciphers. Like, where are the other places that are, like, doing ciphers,
recreating this,
filming this shit, like, just raw, right? Because, like, there's a cipher as we speak in New York right now, in a basketball court, skate park. There's one in Toronto right now. Like, there's ciphers everywhere. But we're yet to find, like, a platform that kind of does the content in the way we do, where we multicam the whole event.
No, you guys are
track
killing
the
it, bro. Love
audio
your
live,
platform.
and, like, trying to really create that. So I think, like, you know, with that, like every city needs that shit, and Vancouver specifically really needs that, because, like, Vancouver's a place where you have the next biggest rapper and they're in their mom's basement, or they're in their bedroom. They're not like, you know, they're just killing it, but they're not, like, coming out and shit like that. And that's a huge thing that we try to do, is put these people on a platform so people can recognize that and see that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
and see people's reactions to it.
Exactly,
it's
bro.
also a way to validate self-worth. You know, even the artists who aren't gonna be, like, career rappers, if you go there and you kill that cipher, like, you're leaving with a different view of yourself, a different self-image that's a bit more elevated,
and who knows,
and may make you more successful in work, more successful in any other creative endeavor, because you went there and you confronted that fear and you killed it. Like, and you guys are providing a platform that, like, encapsulates that in, like, in raw form. It's like what you're saying. It's like a raw natural resource or something, where it's like this excitement and this uncertainty where you don't know what's going to happen, but, like, people have the opportunity to get positive reinforcement and, like, feedback and energy. It's like an energy transfer. You just go there and you're like, you got this in your chest and you're like, shit,
It's the best,
I'm
man.
gonna get my moment. Then you get your moment, you kill it, and then everyone gives it back to you, and you're like, that may propel you to go write 100 verses and be the greatest rapper,
dude.
or it may propel you to, like, go to the gym more, or to, like, whatever, just to have better image of yourself, because you're like, yo, I can do that. I articulated that. I killed those bars, you know. So I love it, bro. It's like
it
those
builds
positive.
so much shit.
It's,
and who
it's
knows,
therapeutic,
like,
man.
Who knows what's gonna come from it? Like, Ghetto refers to it a lot, you know, like, recording the song, filming the music video, and performing it live all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right, where, like, you can go and get these clips and then watch it on YouTube.
It's Saturday Night Live. It's Saturday Night Live.
Exactly, man. You know, and
It's
there's
raw.
people that have, like, been contacted from, like, Toronto, like, a venue's like, hey, like, we seen your clip at this cipher. Like, do you want to come do a show out here, right? So it's just
Showcasing raw
unbelievable,
ability,
like
raw talent.
unbelievable the stuff that can happen, man. It's beautiful, and that's the thing. Like, big up for the whole Strictly Cypher thing, because like that is all we've had. So many cats come to the Cypher, be like, "Yo, like Strictly, like I remember going to Strictly, like this reminds me of Strictly Cyphers and shit like
That's
that."
tight.
And like, you know, it's dope to see that history in Vancouver, man. It really is.
And you guys are doing that for the next generation
I think
too.
you took Strictly
You're
Cypher and you
warming
made
those-
it 10 times better.
Trying to,
to
yeah,
a different
exactly.
platform. So respect to both.
Appreciate
of
you,
I'm
man.
giving you that off camera, but
Off cam, bless.
yeah, I feel good.
That's the like innovation, which is so dope. It's like it was a very simple idea for him. He just was like, yo, people need a place to cipher. You guys are taking it to that next level. And then all those kids that are coming to your events are like dreaming of things, quantum levels. They're gonna come and be like, yo, we can do this for you guys. We can fucking hologram in artists from other, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what's the next
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
right? But like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you guys are already sparking those next ideas by doing what you guys are doing, which is that's how an ecosystem grows, man.
Yeah.
So it's dope to see that environment like grow around us. Because as we've been around for a long time, and we see people who are genuinely pouring into the city instead of just trying to siphon out of it, and we can see it genuinely.
it's
We see
very-
certain
yeah.
artists who are kind of just sucking energy out of it. They're not providing anything new, and then other artists who are, you know. So it's just I love anyone who's an artist or an ally or in the industry that's pouring into it, man. Like I love all y'all. Like just pour into it. Always give more than you take. Just like if you're gonna like go to a potluck or if you're gonna like go in the forest, you don't just be like taking. You know, you gotta like give too, right? So
Yeah, man, that's a big thing, is stealing energy and like, you know, stealing shine, because like that'll happen at the Cypher too, where like shit's popping, like going crazy, everyone's jumping up and down, and someone's killing on the mic, and then next thing you know, it's like. It's like, bro, like that's disrespectful, man. Like, fuck, dude.
Or someone not letting it go, or someone not letting it go too, right?
Yeah,
because I'm sure
that
there's
too.
times where someone's holding on to it too
And that's
long.
the thing. We try our hardest. Like, we don't want no host. There's no timer. There's no
wants to be
rules, right? So
organic.
we just want to put the mics out. You guys do your thing, and we'll just film it, and we'll see
Bro,
what
I had
happens.
to kick motherfuckers out of the Cypher.
Dude, we've
literally,
had to a
yo,
few
bro, you're
times,
out.
man.
Like that's in it. Then come back and this guy tried to stab me with scissors, bro. Fucking literally, because I kicked him out of the Cypher. Came back like 20 minutes later, tried to stab me. Yo, that guy's trying to stab you. Boom, and shit. Had to grab him, take the scissors.
way.
Like, yeah, I'm like, yo, because I was the host. Creator of it, whatever, kept time and shit. I wasn't keeping time. I'm like, all right, bro.
Yeah.
8 bars left, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Past the shit or whatever. But some people get fucking heated. Some people are hammered and just like they're all fucked up. But yeah, I was like, I literally tried to almost, I've been almost stabbed because of trying to regulate the Cypher, man.
But that's how important it is to people. That's how crazy it is, you know? To get
Shit,
drunk
bro.
off the clout.
Facts,
Get drunk off the
though.
clout.
Oh fuck!
Don't get
that's
stabbed
fucking
at
hilarious.
Cyphers.
Don't get stabbed at the Cypher, but no. Strictly Cypher, all the way to Icon, all the way to whatever we're going to see in the next
Shout out to
millennia
Icon.
for
You
the
guys
city,
are killing
man.
it.
You guys are killing it.
Absolutely.
I love what y'all are doing.
Super blessed and grateful to be on the platform.
Yeah,
and,
we appreciate you guys having us, man.
I will be coming to one of these goddamn ciphers. I know you've been asking me. I've been out of the city for like almost 2 years. I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm always gone a lot too, but my intentions are to be there. So I do
Dope,
want to
man.
make something happen with you guys too. Personally
yeah, bro.
speaking, you know.
Facts. 100%.
All right. Well, before we wrap it up, I just want to say thank you guys so much for chopping it up, talking about the project Gallery of Saints coming out September 24th.
Yeah.
Beautiful concept. As you can see, each title is named after a different saint within our times, and I'm really looking forward to this. I know the people are looking forward to this. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap it up here, just to the audience, your audience, or anything like that?
Peace, love, appreciation to you guys. Appreciation to anybody taking this in. Appreciation to anyone that listens to the album. Come see us November 28th at Force and Sound Club.
Don't get stabbed at
Gallery of
Cyphers.
Saints. Don't get stabbed at the Cypher. Respect to y'all. Much love to Icon Hip Hop.
Peace.